Oh, hello there. I'm ZWade, the ZWade, and ZWade Photo. I was just updating my register, and this is why. The Nikkor Z 35mm f1.2s. That whole first bit is just theater. I have been preparing for this lens for a while, long before it was announced, whenever it was just on the roadmap. When it was first on the roadmap and it was just suspected that it would be an f1.2, after I got the 50mm f1.2, I was preparing for this particular lens. And in this video, we are going to check it out for the first time. Opening up the box, we've got the lens hood comes first. Typical Nikon fare, it does have the little button on the side. We have our lens bag. It's not a pouch. And in typical fashion, we have to see if it can be worn like an Orthodox priest hat. Indeed it can. And that's about all these things are actually good for. We have the instructions and warranty cards. Make sure you register your products. And we have reached the product. It is heavy. Give me 1 second while I put all of the goods back into the box because I always keep my stuff, and you should too. I've retrieved the 50mm f1.2 and they are shockingly similar. The 35 feels heavier, but honestly, if it wasn't for the front screen, I might grab one instead of the other off the shelf. The layout is a little bit different than the 50mm. We have a couple of lens function buttons, auto manual switch. Let's look at the front element, looks good. Man, it reminds me of the 50mm f1.2. Rear element looks good. Do have something right there. There's just a little something from the factory in the aperture ring grooves. That knurling came right out. This particular lens is made in Thailand, as is the 50mm f1.2s. Man, guys, I've been really excited for this lens. I hope it performs. We're gonna get to that in a second. It is very pricey, very pricey. It's, I mean, the same price as the 85mm f1.2. After tax, you're gonna be over $3,000. And while I didn't expect this lens to be as expensive as it was, I was expecting 22 to 25. I went ahead and set more aside just in case I was gonna be wrong. Once the 85-1.2 launched at that price, that is actually whenever I increased the amount that I had set aside for this lens, because Nikon knew they could get away with it. The 85-1.2, it sold really well. I know a bunch of people that love it, and so Nikon knows they can get away with it. The function buttons are very clicky. Auto manual switch, nice and clicky. This is firm. The focus ring is firm. The aperture ring is firm. The Nikkor Z lens caps are good. Not gonna pop off on your jeans. I have got to go get some test images with this. I wanna kind of run through some basics. You know, we're gonna do black and white ability. We're gonna do focus speed. Let's do the focus speed first. Actually, I kind of just wanna see what this looks like through the viewfinder. So far, the colors look really good. All right, so let's check our focus speed here. So the focus speed really kind of falls somewhere between the 50mm f1.2 and the 85mm f1.2. The 50mm f1.2, a little bit slow, admittedly, and the 85-1.2 is like way faster than it actually needs to be. And so this definitely falls somewhere in between. It's not a disappointing focus speed at all. It's significantly better than the 50mm f1.2 focus speed whenever you're not going from totally out of focus, like up close and then really far away. When you're just kind of zipping around in normal use. God. Scam calls. In normal use, when you're not going from absolute minimum to maximum, it's pretty quick. Yeah, I'm not unhappy with that at all. Let's do our saturation. Got our lantern over here. That's where we like to check our red saturation. Let's do it at f1.2. Red saturation looks great. Let's do our blue. Blue saturation looks great. Yellow. Yellow saturation looks great. Green saturation over here. I'll do this on this tractor here. Going directly into the sun, that might not be the best move. I do get flaring from the sun whenever we're straight on at it. I left the lens hood inside. We're gonna come around here, out of the sun. Green saturation, maybe not as strong as the blue and the yellow saturation, but we'll just have to see in Lightroom. Try to find some other green. We'll do that matte. Yeah, at least through my viewfinder, reds look really good, blues look really good, yellows look really good, greens, kind of just like normal, not a super crazy amount of saturation. We got our typical black and white ability spot right here. We probably do a little sharpness as well. We're doing this at f1.2 right now. It does look really great through the viewfinder. Let's try 2.8. All right, so we got the first images ever from the 35mm f1.2. These are the test images. We got them in Lightroom. Now let's take a look. The red saturation is so good. Very, very deep and rich. This is at f1.2, and I can already tell that it's really sharp. Really, really sharp at f1.2. Sharper than the 50mm f1.2 at f1.2. Now coming over here to check out our blue saturation, it is exact. No, it's a little richer than exact. Because this thing is more like a, kind of like a faded blue, because I've been doing this particular lighter for like years and it just sits outside on this table. And so that is more saturated. We'll see more when we get to the sky. Let's look at the yellows. Ooh, I did that one a little underexposed. Yellow looks just barely more saturated than what I would call natural. Let's go over to our green. Now the green looked normal in the viewfinder, but this is just a tad more saturated than natural. So I would say we're 4 for 4. The reds are really saturated. I believe that this lens is going to be amazing for scenic portraits in color. But other than red, we're 3 out of 4 that are just slightly more than natural. So that's good. We can call this excellent saturation. We'll look at this one too. Same kind of deal as this. It is just so sharp. Oh my God, it's so detailed. Look at all the little tiny details of the rubber in the tire. And I would expect for there to be insane amounts of fringing in these parts, and there's just not. There's a little bit right here, but it is not that bad for how bright that is. At f1.2, there's just a tiny bit. Oh well, let's check out the distortion. Yeah, there's a little distortion. I don't like the flatness though. I never do the profile correction, even on like the 20mm and things like that. I just don't do it. Like this looks better to me. I know to some people that may not be the case, but for testing, we can see that it does have some. And by the way, this is a brand new lens, but this is already updated in Lightroom, so that's good. If you care about that kind of thing, that's what it looks like. All right, so we did a couple. We did this one at f1.2 to check the black and white ability, and I just wanted to see the sharpness at f2.8. So let's check black and white ability. It is so detailed. And I'm not seeing any. I usually see fringing on these, on lenses that aren't well corrected for it. And I don't see any. And sometimes you can see it in here too, in the out of focus areas. Very, very tiny amounts in these shadowy cracks. Again, we only see those at 200. But anyway, let's check black and white ability. And the rules for this, we just hit the black and white button and see what happens. We have good ranges of different tones. This is definitely not the best black and white ability in the Nikon Z lineup, but it is very good. One that's at f2.8. I wanted to get an idea of the sharpness. Let's get in at an unfair 200%. It's really, really sharp at f1.2 and f2.8. More importantly than the sharpness on its own is it's really detailed. There's so much contrast in this lens. You get all these little tiny little variations. Even as it starts to get softer as we move away from the focus plane, you get all these little tiny bits of really not like details, just different colorations of the wood. They all come through, making it seem even sharper. This is top marks for sharpness. I mean, for sure. I'm just verifying black and white ability again. It is very, very good. It's very good. It's just, it's absolutely 100% not the best in the lineup, but I don't want you to think I'm unhappy with this black and white ability. It's top tier with the other Z lenses. It's not the best in the lineup. I want to throw Gravedigger on this and see what happens. Gravedigger is always so extra. I love it. Let's throw this up here. Give it a little bit of that. And then we give it a radial gradient. Spectacular, mateys. We're at that time of day where the sun kind of casts light across things that are on the ground, such as leaves and other things. And that's great for shallow depth of field photography, which is exactly why I buy these f1.2s. I don't necessarily need f1.2 aperture for light gathering. I just love having absolutely blown away backgrounds, taking pictures of things that don't really matter, making them look cool. I see something. Yo, it focuses really, really close. I'm gonna get this down here so you guys can see. It's this leaf right here that I'm shooting. If I can get myself out of the light. Okay, I'm shooting the inside part here. That's minimum. And you don't really want to shoot there. You want to back up just a little bit. Yes, yes, yes. We like that because that allows for more destroyed background. The 50, a little bit closer. This is getting really close, but I'm already really liking the amount of out of focus that is around my subject because it's just more stuff that's just like gone. That's the whole point of shallow depth of field photography, is a very small focus on a small point of something that doesn't matter. It's just gonna look, it's gonna look so, I can't wait to look at these. I'm so excited. Really pretty backgrounds. And the color of the oranges and a little bit of the blue. It's so lovely. I get a little bit of that orange and blue and then I'll get on this subject here. I think I want to go just walk around downtown. I'm gonna leave this here. Spoiler, it's gonna be all shallow depth of field stuff. I know that I'm supposed to be, you know, doing like a full breakdown of what this lens will do, but I bought it for one reason, and that's like the reason I wanna do.